Anytime I speak, I'm not just speaking words, I'm speaking fire, and fire has no friend. The devil will always fight your thinking pattern because he knows that wherever your mind goes to is where you get.
Listen and be blessed.
Our 8th day of our success indoctrination class. I want to appreciate you for being a part, and I believe all the previous episodes have been a great motivation for you, and there have been great improvement because that's what we are up to in this class. Now, have you heard a statement by some people saying you don't build castle in the air? That is the crux of what we are going to be looking at on this 8th day of this class. And the topic is discover your basic requirements. Many people have not been able to discover the basic requirement for their success. There is no way you can build castle in air. It means you must be specific. A man, Archimedes, the progenitor of density and some other physics quantity, he made a statement. He said, give me a place to place my feet and I will move the world. Is a very striking statement because there is no place you can put your feet on to move the world. But this also is a reality. You can't move anything if you don't have a base. Just like the scripture said, that don't despise the days of little beginning. And he also spoke to Job in another scripture. He said that though your beginning be small, your latter end will greatly increase. Now, this is a proof that there will be no increase if you don't discover that small, that little thing that you require in order to provoke an increase. There's something you need that will not just give you motivation, it will also create the bedrock for every other thing that you need, that you desire to come your way. There's a story of Moses with the rod. God told him, he said, this rod, you will use it to bring signs. Moses needed no other thing. From the beginning of the signs and wonders in the land of Egypt to the end, the rod was there. Why? It defines this topic we are talking about. Rod was the basic requirement that he needed. If there's no other thing else, all he needed was the rod, then Aaron, his brother, to speak for him. For you that want to accomplish a particular goal or a task or a vision or your dream, have you discovered that basic requirement? If you don't discover that basic requirement, you may even have the basic requirement and be thinking of something else as a requirement, which is not really a basic requirement. A woman, the widow of Zarephath, had a pot of oil, and through that pot of oil, there was, she had a breakthrough. Now, however, many I'm not here to give you that false hope, because many people have certain things in their hand which is not up to the basic requirement, and that is why they fail. If Moses had a rod without Aaron, his brother, he has not met the basic requirements to bring the people out of Egypt. If that widow of Zarephath had only oil without those borrowed pots, there will be no miracle. Many people they have certain things they feel out of false hope, and because of lack of calculation, they have certain things that they set out in order to achieve a big dream. And the dream cannot be achieved because what they had, which they felt was okay to provoke a greater, testimony or a greater breakthrough, is not coming to pass because the basic requirements were not defined and was not achieved. Hear me, if you set out to achieve something with less than the basic requirement in your hand, achieving success will be a struggle. Now, even the process that many tell you that you need to a process in order to get to greatness, a process requires certain ingredients in order to come out well. You cannot be if you want to bring out soup now, you must have the basic requirements in order for the processing of the soup to come out well. If not, what will come out will be ugly. Every process requires basic, ingredients. You must have the stuff that is required to process you into greatness. Now, let me use three examples. Number one is a student. A student without a foundation, for example, in maths and English, has no way he or she can succeed. If you don't have maths and English, you can't succeed. There is no two ways about it. That is the foundation. It's a basic requirement. Number two, if somebody wants to start a business, there are some businesses you cannot start in a rented facility, especially in places where renting is very high. Your basic requirement should be having a landed property. This is one of the secrets behind Ray Kroc's exploits in McDonald's chains of store. They went into real estate when renting facilities was very expensive and was bringing the business down. You have to sit down and ask yourself, what is the basic requirement? Else, you will keep trying to process incomplete ingredients and expecting a great result. Now, if you are in a business, there are some level of capital that you need. If it is below that capital, you cannot get your success. You need a particular amount of money. If you need 4 million naira to start a particular business and you are giving just 2 million naira, there is 50 to 70% probability that that business will not survive the first 2-3 months of existence. The reason is because the basic requirement is not there. That's why in our basic social studies, we're taught the 4 factors of production: the labor, the land, the entrepreneur, and the capital. These 4 components, anything that makes one to be missing will create a problem. Now, don't venture into anything until you have been able to define. Not just define, you have acquired the basic requirement. Many people go to school. You don't have solid foundation in maths and English, or you are into business, you have not acquired certain foundations, and you are expecting to get even our Bible. I want to quote that scripture, Luke chapter 14, verse 28. Read down to 31. It tells us about a man that will not sit down and count the cost. So no matter your faith, if you don't count the cost and know what is required and make sure that you have those things required, your vision to succeed will end up in mockery. He said, people will mock you because you started what you could not finish. Our Master Jesus Christ is against starting what you cannot finish. And that's why to succeed, you must be a calculative person. You must be meticulous. You must sit down a great deal. If you want to rise high, you must sit down. If you want to rise high, you must sit down. You must calculate. Only those who take proper accounting of basic requirements ever end up great. If you don't want to end up in mockery, then sit down, calculate. He told us also about a man who wants to go to war and will not sit down to check whether his army of 10,000 will be able to defeat an army of 20,000. It's all about calculation. So your faith does not stop you from sitting down to take proper calculation and discover your basic requirements. Avoid running into ventures with possibilities and probabilities. If you don't have it, sit down and acquire it before you venture. Because when the music begins to play, only those who have taken proper accounting will end up succeeding. So discover your basic requirement. What do you need so that you don't end up halfway? What do you need? That vision. What do you need? Both intrinsic and extrinsic requirement. You sit down. What do you need? What do you need? What is the basic requirement that you must have in order to end up great? So this is one of the basic secret of success. And I want to encourage you. You must note it, discover it, jot it down, and begin to acquire them. Then you can launch into the dreams in your heart. So till the next class is going to be so powerful. Keep watching, keep watching. God bless you.